Hi everyone, my name is Andrew Zborovsky, and for my EdTech resource review, I'll be looking at an article called 7 Ways to Use Classroom-Centered Social Media by Bill Manchester, published on Edutopia in 2026. I'm going to be exploring this technology through the lens of English language learners, or ELL students, who make up a significant portion of classrooms across the country. Let's get into it. The article I selected, 7 Ways to Use Classroom-Centered Social Media by Bill Manchester, focuses on classroom-centered platforms like ClassDojo and Seesaw, which let teachers post text, photos, and videos that only approved users like parents, students, and administrators can see. Bill Manchester is a music teacher, and he shares 7 practical ways he uses these platforms beyond just posting pictures of what kids are doing in class. I chose this article because of the various features on these platforms. Things like video, visuals, and repeated access to content really line up well with the needs of ELL students, which I'll get into shortly. Manchester outlines 7 strategies for using classroom-centered social media, and I've split them across 2 slides. The first 4 are here. First, he talks about using the platform to model responsible social media use for students, which is a genuine life skill at this point. Second, he describes building an archive of past class videos that students can watch to reflect on what went well and what they can improve. Third, he highlights multiple modalities, meaning students engage with the same content by reading music, performing it, and watching a recording of themselves, giving them several ways to connect with the material. And fourth, he introduces the concept of informances, which are informal performances posted online. Instead of spending weeks rehearsing one big concert, teachers post short clips throughout the learning process so parents can see how learning actually happens in real time. The last 3 strategies are on this slide. Strategy 5 is creating new musical opportunities by layering recorded videos together, letting a class perform as an ensemble without splitting into groups. Strategy 6 involves posting short commercials or challenge videos to get families excited about upcoming performances or encourage students to practice at home. And strategy 7 is serial learning, where a complex topic gets broken into a series of short video segments across multiple class periods. I've also laid out the pros and cons here. The main benefits are that the platform is private and safe, low cost, supports multiple learning modalities, and boosts family engagement. The challenges include potential device access issues at home, language barriers for non-English speaking families, and the time investment required from teachers. For implementation, the basics are straightforward. Just set up ClassDojo or Seesaw, invite parents, and start posting short weekly clips. From a learning theory standpoint, this technology connects to 3 major frameworks. The strongest connection is to social constructivism, which is the idea that learning is fundamentally social. When students watch each other's videos and build on their peers' performances, they're co-constructing knowledge together. There's also a strong connection to cognitivism, the serial posting strategy, and the way content gets broken into short, digestible video chunks aligns with cognitive load theory, where information is presented in ways that don't overwhelm the learner. And there's a behaviorist element as well. The platform reinforces positive learning behaviors through public recognition of students' progress, where celebrating growth over polished outcomes is the main goal. Before getting into the marginalized learner section, I want to address how Mayer's principles of multimedia learning apply here, both to the technology itself and how I designed this presentation. Mayer's theory says people learn more effectively from words and visuals combined than from words alone. The classroom social media technology in Manchester's article directly reflects the multimedia principle, since every post combines video, audio, and text. My presentation applies the segmenting principle by splitting the article summary across 2 slides. The coherence principle, guided by my use of bullet phrases instead of full paragraphs on each slide, and the signaling principle is reflected in the color-coded headers and accent bars throughout. which guide your eye to the key information on each slide. The marginalized learner group I'm focusing on is English Language Learners, or ELL students. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, ELL students make up about 10% of the K-12 student population in the United States, representing over 400 different languages. The largest groups include Spanish, Arabic, Chinese, Somali, and Vietnamese speakers. As a group, ELL students face real challenges in the classroom. There are obvious language barriers that make it harder to participate and understand instruction. There's often a cultural disconnect between home and school. Many ELL learners experience lower academic confidence and anxiety around making mistakes in front of peers. Their families also have limited English, which reduces the support students can get at home. And ELL students are sometimes overlooked or excluded from enrichment activities based on how they're classified in school systems. So how does classroom-centered social media actually benefit ELL students? There are 6 key benefits. First being the visual and multimodal nature of video posts reduces ELL students' reliance on spoken or written English alone. They can pick up meaning through demonstrations and nonverbal cues. Second, ELL students can replay posts as many times as they need, which supports language acquisition through repeated comprehensible input. Third, the family bridge piece is significant. Parents who don't speak English can still see what their child is doing in class, which builds trust between home and school. Fourth, informant-style posts let ELL students demonstrate knowledge non-verbally through music or movement, lowering anxiety around language mistakes. And fifth, watching peers perform supports social constructivist learning, where ELL students pick up language in a real meaningful context. And lastly, sixth, using these platforms builds digital literacy skills in English that students will genuinely need going forward. This technology isn't without challenges for ELL students and their families. The first barrier is the digital access gap. Many ELL families have limited home internet or devices, meaning some students can't engage with content posted outside of school. Second, the platforms are primarily in English, so parents with limited proficiency may struggle to navigate them or understand notifications. Third, there are real cultural privacy concerns. Some families may be uncomfortable with their child being recorded and posted online, even on a private platform. Fourth, there's a risk of unequal participation, where ELL students don't get equal time as camera operators or featured performers. Fifth, even informal recordings can feel high stakes. For students anxious about learning their English and being judged, this is not the greatest. And sixth, many teachers lack the training to adapt these platforms specifically for ELL communication needs or multilingual family engagement. Each of those barriers has a practical strategy. For the digital access gap, schools can provide loaner devices or Wi-Fi hotspots, and teachers can allow in-school viewing time. For platform language barriers, ClassDojo has a built-in translation feature supporting over 35 languages, and setting that up from day one makes a big difference. For privacy concerns, multilingual consent forms and opt-out options with equivalent alternatives address most issues. For unequal camera time, rotating the role equitably and using UDL principles to give students choice in how they participate helps. For language anxiety, starting with nonverbal contributions before asking students to speak on camera creates a safer entry point. And for teacher capacity, platforms like ClassDojo offer ELL-specific professional development resources, and collaborating with ESL specialists to design an inclusive posting routine is a great starting point. Here are my 3 questions for my peer reviewer. The first is an evaluation question. Based on this presentation, critique the argument that classroom-centered social media effectively benefits ELL students. What additional evidence would you need to be fully convinced, and what counter-arguments might exist? The second is an analysis question. Beyond ELL students, can you analyze how platforms like ClassDojo could be adapted for different marginalized groups, such as students with dyslexia or students from low-income communities? And the third is another evaluation question. To what extent does the digital access gap actually undermine or negate the potential benefits of this technology for ELL students? Looking forward to your responses. This final slide has all of the references cited throughout the presentation, and I'd like to thank anyone viewing for their time.